Hey Sketchy friends. So in today's video I wanted to do something a bit different. I don't tend to do product reviews. I have this feeling within me that I really just try and limit the amount of art supplies I buy if I can help it, and just use what I have. That's something that's kind of quite important to me. However, things do come to me now and again. So I was actually lucky enough to win one of many prizes in the raffle at the Urban Sketches Symposium. There were so many prizes, it was amazing. I think Janine, the president, said you had a 1 in 7 chance of winning something. And I also won something in New Zealand as well. So the thing that I won is this Urban Sketches set of watercolors from QoR. QoR is a brand that I haven't really tried before. They are owned by the company Golden, which if you're into acrylic paints, then you've probably heard of them before. I have swatched a few of their colours from a little sample thing before and was kind of like, yeah, you know, didn't really sort of think anything further of it. But now I have this set, and I must say I do really love QoR's packaging. It's nice that they have manufactured their own tin, and I actually saw someone else talking about QoR, and they brought up that point, and I thought it was a valid one to mention. Really, it's nice that they've really gone to town on their product. You know, they've thought about it and made something unique. So this urban sketch set, there are lots of different sets available. I think it's in one of these flyers. So lots of different combinations of sets that you can get. But this is the QoR Mini, and it comes with 6 half pans. I can't even say this. Benzimidazolone yellow. Another word I struggle with, quinacridone red. Quin red, I'm just going to call it quin. Cobalt blue, cobalt teal, Van Dyke brown, and Payne's grey. So let's take a look at those on the screen now. So these pans, they can fall out, but now I've used mine a bit. They've kind of, the paint has sort of glued them into the tray a little more. So just be careful with that. Quite a nice selection of colours. I really like the silicone insert inside the tin. I thought it was a bit strange at first, but now I've used it a bit. I actually really like mixing on the silicone. I think it's really nice. I prefer it actually to mixing on the tin lid or in the metal. The unique thing about QoR is that they have this binder that they use, which is called Aquazole, and they have actually patented it to use as their own binder. So that's in contrast to other watercolors that are, the binder is gum arabic or honey. So these guys seem to think that Aquazole is a better binder, and they talk about it being used by professionals in the field of fine art conservation since the early 1990s. One of the benefits is its stability after accelerated light aging tests with no significant change in color. The bold, intense color becomes more transparent as it's diluted, greater intensity of color than traditional watercolors, and yet can still be used for subtle washes. A little paint goes a long way. So I agree with the little paint goes a long way, especially with most of them. The only one I found tricky to pick up was the cobalt teal. They do seem to be very vibrant and they pick up out of the pan really nicely as well. It's great that actually QoR are available in South Africa where I live, because that does mean if I want to add to this tin in terms of colours, then I can do that. And I will talk about the ones that I would add just in a second here. I do think the colour choices are interesting. They've obviously are marketing this at Urban Sketches, so they haven't gone with the usual 2 yellows, 2 reds, 2 blues. I do think the cobalt teal is an interesting inclusion, to be honest with you. I really do like the Van Dyke brown. I've looked at Van Dyke brown in other brands, and it's never really been a colour that's massively appealed to me, but this one just seems so rich and deep and beautiful. So I think that's my favorite color in this set. And the Payne's grey is really powerful as well. So I think those two are clever additions to this set. So as I said, there's nice bright colors here. They're easy to activate and they lay down nicely on all types of watercolor paper, because I had quite a lot of samples. So I tried on a lot of different types of paper. They do really sing on like a nice textured cold press paper though, especially 100% cotton, but that's probably true of most watercolors. And you can get a nice array of colors from this set. So particularly the purples that you can mix are absolutely spectacular. But, you know, I was thinking, are they that useful for urban sketching? Well, weirdly, when I had a few moments to do a sketch the other day, the scene that I found myself in front of was actually mainly pinks and purples. I was in a very interesting brand new restaurant. Just went to quickly check it out. And yeah, so I guess these the ability to mix all these purples actually did kind of come in handy. Also, for those of you who have a jacaranda season like we do here, the beautiful purple trees, then these can be pretty useful as well. So side note, this new restaurant we went into was nuts, and I absolutely can't wait to go back there when we have more time to sketch. Just check it out on the screen now. It's kind of like a carnival circus theme. And I can't not just spend a quick minute just to show you around. Sorry for the tangent here. So we were sat downstairs and there's a cool bar with like a flamingo and an elephant on like a merry-go-round sticks and stuff. But then upstairs is where it gets really interesting. There is a wall of breasts made out of mirrors. And the great thing about this restaurant, which is the thing that someone told me about when they said I must visit, is that you must go to the toilets. And I'm just going to not talk here for a second so you can hear what is going on in this bathroom. So I'm sure I'll be going back there soon to do some more sketching. I didn't have too much time on this particular occasion, and only the cafe part of the restaurant was actually open, which is this purple scene here. But it was coincidentally, it actually worked out really nicely because I made some nice colors. Even though the lights were so dim that I could barely see what was going on. So back to the swatching, you can also get some beautiful grays from this set. I found like the greens were a bit trickier as well, and I kind of suspected that just by looking at the colours. As quite a few of you might know from watching other videos, I love to have a couple of pre-made greens in my set. I like to use them straight out of the pan when I'm painting, A, because I'm lazy, and B, I like to do wet on wet foliage and I like to do it quickly, so I don't have time to like really mix up the greens. I just want to dip into them straight away. And especially when you're in a hot, dry climate most of the time, that can be pretty useful. So my go-to green is just called Green by White Nights. It's my absolute favorite color of all time. This is seconded by Green, again, it's just called Green, by Rosa Gallery. It's very similar. It's not quite the same, but it's very, very similar. And in combination with one of these greens, I do like to use Green Gold from Daniel Smith or Indian Yellow by White Nights. Those combinations are perfect for me just to add quick foliage into any scene. Oranges are a little trickier with this set as well. I could kind of get maybe a slightly duller orange or quite a pinky orange, which is still really nice and really useful. But that's because there's just a cool yellow and a cool red in this set. There isn't a warm yellow and warm red, which would make a better orange, or like a more traditional bright orange. But again, it doesn't bother me too much. I don't really use orange all that much in my sketching, but you know, you never know when you may need it. And obviously there are 6 more slots to add colors to in this set. So I would definitely add a sap green or an olive green, which you can see on the chart here. The hooker's green also looks really beautiful on this chart. It's not something I ever use, but I would really like to test it just to see what it actually looks like. I did swatch the Green Gold by QoR because I had that in a small dot card, and that seems much more yellowy than the Daniel Smith one, but it would still be fine. I'd also consider adding a warm red, some kind of pyrrole scarlet or something like that. Don't use it that often, but when you need it, you need it. And I'd probably add another blue, maybe the manganese blue or a phthalo blue, definitely a cold blue. And then also maybe another brown. I love this Van Dyke brown in this set so much. It's so rich and beautiful. So I'd probably add something to complement it, something duller and more yellowy, maybe like a raw umber or something like that. So I really enjoyed painting this little sketch I did with these paints. The paint went down super nice on my hot press Etcher everyday sketchbook that I was using. I'd certainly recommend this set for someone who is looking for a good starter set of decent artist grade watercolors. And on Opus, I can see them as $69.49 US dollars. So that sounds about right, about $70. And it retails at £37.33 on Amazon.co.uk. I think that's actually really good. I think that's really good value. Obviously, you can get more watercolor for less price, but these are like really high quality paints, and you can do a lot with just these six colors. I didn't take any other art supplies with me when I went to do my sketch, and I found it just actually quite liberating, strangely, to just have these six colors to play with. So I think it can get really tempting to carry lots of different colors around with you, but at the end of the day, you really don't need that many. Again, really, really good paint. I think it will last a long time. As their marketing says, a little bit goes a long way. I have found that to be true, even though I've only done a few little tests. I am not unhappy with this paint and this particular set. I'm glad I won it, and I do think at times I will challenge myself to just go out with these colors, although I would be tempted to add a green and maybe the other blue, but that's literally it. That's probably, in fact, I'd probably just want the green, just because I wasn't that happy with the greens I could make. My favorite combination was with the yellow and the Payne's gray. Those were the most pleasing color combinations that I got. But yeah, that would be the one thing that I would add. All that's to say, if you're in the market for a really decent artist grade paint set, I think this is a good one. I do think this is a good one, and I think it is worth the money. So I hope that's been useful. I hope if you've been interested in getting this set, that this little look at it and the different colors that you can mix has been useful. And if you've got any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. I'm really not a technical expert on watercolors and all the different pigment codes and that kind of thing. I'm more of a hands-on, I like to try things more. So I will be testing this more and more. If you'd like to see what I do with it, then do follow me on Instagram, because that's where I post my regular sketches. So you can find me on Instagram, Tarias_sketchy_adventures. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Please do check out my book, The Beginner's Guide to Urban Sketching, which is available in stores in most English-speaking countries, and also online as well at your favorite book retailers. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.